Hey everybody, Dana here. It's time for some weekend research. We know as a trader, the weekend is very, very vital time to take a look at the markets and plan trades for next week. So that's what I'm doing here. We all know the cash market is closed today because it's Good Friday. And what a great day to celebrate and commemorate the sacrifice of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So we will take advantage of this time to do some planning for next week. So I always start with the VIX, which is the volatility index. You see that on your screen here, and just the way my screen is set up, you have the quarter time frame. Each candlestick is 1 quarter. In the middle, I have the month. Each candlestick represents 1 month, and on the far right, the week. Each candlestick represents 1 week. Um, so I am looking for any signs of a reversal. You all know my strategy. I'm looking for either a hammer candle off of a support level or a shooting star off of a resistance level. So let's take a look at the VIX here. The VIX tends to move in the inverse to the overall market. That basically means if the VIX is red, the overall market generally is green or bullish, and vice versa. Looking clearly red on the week, the month, and the quarter on VIX, not seeing anything that would suggest an immediate entry to the upside. Now I'm going to look at the futures. I always look at S&P futures as part of my weekend research. Again, that just lets us know what the overall market is doing. We had a strong green quarter, strong green month, as well as we ended in a green week. Interestingly, an inside candle. But one thing to think about when you're doing your research, look, we've had 5 green months on the S&P futures. Why do we want to take a look at that? You want to back test and consider, okay, when's the last time we've had 5 green months with no pullback? Let's see. Let's make this screen a little bit bigger. This is the information we want to know so we can plan. So let's go back and take my screen to the left, to the left, to the left. Okay, I see 2 green months, and then we have 3 red months. Let's keep going. 2 green months, 2 green months, 1 green month, then a pullback, 1 green month, then a pullback. So Dana, what's the point of this exercise? It just gives you some clues, some historical information. We know that probability suggests that historical data can predict future movement, or historical movement can predict future movement, I should say. So it's something we want to know. So we see some green months here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or 7 green months before a pullback, and this was COVID. We know things were very strange during COVID. So I'll be looking at the S&P futures, and I will be expecting some pullback just because of this 5 green months, and it's natural for price to retrace. So I'll be watching this here, but again, I will specifically look for a shooting star and confirmation before I entered any trade to the downside. Okay, so let's put this back where it needs to be. So let's look at SPY. SPY is one of my favorite tickers to trade. I just posted a video on this channel trade that was very successful. I hope you go take a look at that. But just look in general, I'm going to take this channel off and see how we ended. Green week, green month, and a green quarter. Similarly, SPY tends to move part and parcel with the S&P futures, not always. But here again, we have 5 green months, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and no pullback. So I'll be looking for that to see if there's a shooting star off of a ceiling down to a level of expected retracement. Let's go on to materials, which is XLB. See what we see. Green week and a green month and a green quarter looks pretty strong. But what is of note to me, materials is approaching a year ceiling or a year resistance level up ahead. I'll set an alert for myself because I would expect a retracement or a pullback from the year ceiling or the year resistance level. Why is that, Dana? Remember that if you find an engulfing candle on the year, that is comprised of over 360 days or a year of price data. So those ceilings and floors tend to be pretty significant. So I will be watching XLB or materials for a pullback at the year ceiling or the year resistance level. Let's look at communications, which is XLC. XLC, we have a green inside week, we had a green month, and we had a green quarter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green quarters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green months. No immediate signal for a pullback, but I certainly will be looking for one, specifically when we hit this quarter level up top. So let's move on to energy, XLE. Looking at energy, we ended the week green. We had a very strong month. Look at that in the middle. It's pretty significant. And then had a strong green quarter that actually resulted in a new engulfing candle. And that's why it's good to do this research on the weekend. You can clean up your lines. So I'm putting in this new engulfing candle, connecting the high here to the high to the candle before it. And the lows connection is correct. Take a look at my video on support and resistance, and it will explain in more in depth how I am connecting the highs and the lows and what all that signifies for the trader. So I'm looking here. I'll be paying attention to energy. I see that it hit a year ceiling or a year resistance level up ahead. No immediate signs of the reversal, but I'll be looking for one. I'll be looking for some type of retracement. We'll see how April opens, how the week and the month and the quarter opens, which will be on Monday. Let's go to financials, XLF. I'm sure you all took a look at my recent trade on Allstate. That was a successful trade to the upside. Allstate falls within financials. What do we have? Wow, we had a really strong week on financials here. Again, it gives me an opportunity to fill in my lines. We have a new engulfing candle. So I'm going to draw that here, connecting the highs to the lows and color coding according to my chart so I can see it very quickly. 1, 2, 3. Again, 5 green months. We have 2 strong green quarters here. I certainly do not see, I'm looking at the space up ahead for financials. I don't see any ceilings on this yet, but I'll be taking a look. Just like with the other sectors we talked about, is it time for some cooling off with all of this run that we've had? So we certainly would want to look for confirmation, a shooting star with confirmation before entering to the downside. Let's look at industrials next. XLI. XLI ended the week green. We had a green month. Look at this month. Look at this. This month is really interesting. We're right at a quarter ceiling or a quarter resistance level. Also, I'm looking at the quarter here. And I have another quarter ceiling right up ahead. If you see where my cursor is, this yellow line. Again, this was based upon an engulfing candle. Actually, you can see it here if you go to the left. This is where I found this ceiling. And the extension takes us up here. So I'll be watching this for a possible pullback once it hits this quarter line right above. So I'll have this on watch as well. And let's look at next the staples, consumer staples, which is XLP. And I see you're already hearing a theme here. Every sector we've looked at so far, 5 green months. 5 green months of bullish behavior, meaning new highs, up, 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 with no cooling off. So the question becomes, how long can the market stay green? Is it reasonable for us to have another green month? Or is it reasonable for us to look out for signs of a pullback, signs of a reversal, or just a retracement to the downside? Based upon your strategy, that's a question you'll have to ask yourself. So we've got a green week on staples, a green month, and a green quarter. Let's see, I don't see any new engulfing candles, so nothing to draw here. Let's see here. If you take a look, just looking at the month on consumer staples, I'll maximize the screen. If you see this level here, going back to December of 2022, you see it hits this level, went down, and then it came back May 2023, and it pulled back. So the question becomes, we're almost there again. So when Staples hits this line or hits this price point, should we expect a pullback as we saw in May of 2023, in December of 2022? So you'll need to consult your rules. I'll be looking for that. If price hits here and then I get a shooting star, I will be paying attention and looking for a trade to the downside. This is where your rules are going to need to be defined and set. Are you looking for short-term day trades? Are you looking for longer swing trades? So that's staples. What's next? What am I missing? Real estate, XLRE. Okay. So I have an engulfing candle. Oh, I have two. I have two that I've missed here. So let me draw those. I got a couple. I am behind on real estate. So give me a second. I'm going to update my lines here. Again, take a look at that video on drawing support and resistance. You will do yourself a favor because you need to know where price may find a floor, or likewise, you need to know where price may bump its head. So when you're planning your trades, how far to the upside or how far to the downside, you need to know eventually where that's going to stop. Or where it creates an opportunity for you to get in. So we have a new engulfing candle on real estate sector. I've got those updated. So we're green on the month, which is in the middle here. But looky, we've got a red quarter. This is the first sector. I'm going to maximize this. I want to look at this better. Out of all the sectors we've looked at so far, this is the first red quarter that we see. But you see that price came down this kind of peachy line right here. This for me, I color code this to be a year resistance, or I'm sorry, a year support level. But it's interesting to me that price came down, rejected it, and came back. So we'll definitely pay attention to this because this potentially creates an opportunity. Let me update and remove this 50% level because we see that price went the previous quarter, which would have been in Q4 of 2023, price exceeded this year support level, but then it came all the way back. Real estate is an interesting one. So we'll continue to take a look at that. And even if you zoom out to the month here, you've got this strong bullish movement here. And then I think what some would say is consolidation for potentially further move to the upside. So we'll have to take a look here if we find either a shooting star off of a resistance level, or if we find a hammer candle off of a 4 level. So let's keep going. Let's look at utilities, which is XOU. Strong green candle. Look at that on the week. We ended the month of March green, coming off of 50% of the previous month, which is significant in terms of a retracement level. And then on the quarter, we ended in a strong green hammer. And it's inside too. Let's maximize that. Let's take a look and see what we see. So this green hammer is coming off of 50% of the previous quarter, which would have been Q4, and it's inside to the previous quarter, which would have been Q3. I'm sorry, Q4, inside to Q4. So what does this suggest? In my mind, this suggests more upside because we have Q4 of 2023 rejecting a quarter floor or a quarter support level. We came back up and now we have a bullish inside quarter. So I'm going to look for more movement to the upside on XLU up to this next quarter ceiling that I have around $69.35. So I'll take a look at that. Again, looking for the hammer off of a support up to a ceiling. What's next? Healthcare, XOV. Here's the week, far right. XOV looks like it's consolidating here. Let's see what I mean. So this is the week. Look at this strong movement all the way back from October 2023 on the week. We're going up, 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 a slight retracement and up. And now we've been consolidating ever since February 19th, meaning we're not making new highs and we're not really making new lows. So we're right in this range here. So this is a good one to take a look at healthcare to see if we find especially off of this month support level, if we can get a close and then an additional hammer to the upside, that would suggest more additional bullish movement based upon my strategy. And then on the month, let's see, we have an inside candle on the month coming off of 50% of the previous month. We've got a nice green quarter here. So the question is the same, similar to the other sectors. Are we going to keep going or is it time for a pullback? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green months, and we've had no pullback. When you back test this, when is the last time that healthcare had more than 5 months with no pullback? And you can easily check that. Just look to the left, look to the left. Okay, where do I have 5 months or more? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 green months before we got a pullback. But what was happening here? This was COVID. Again, if you look back at the market and how the market moved during COVID, many traders would say that the COVID trading was an anomaly. Because if you keep looking at XOB to the left, to the left, to the left, to the left, I don't see any other 5 months except for here, April, what is this, back in 2018. We had 6 green months before we got a pullback. So this is interesting information. This is what you want to know when you're back testing and considering how do I plan for April. So certainly for me, I'm going to be ready on both sides for more upside, but potentially more downside. And I'll tell you my bias right now, which is just that, a bias, is for some downside. So I'm going to be looking for signals, certainly in XOB. So the last sector, if I didn't forget something, is XLY. XLY, which is consumer discretionary. Let's see here, green week, a red month. I think this is the first red month that we've seen in the sectors so far. So let's take a look here. And interestingly, XLY, unlike the other sectors, has not had 5 straight green months. We had 2 here and then a pullback. We had a bullish month and then we had a pullback. I posted a video on XLY, and I think my thesis remains the same here. I am looking for XLY to try for this next quarter level up above, which is around 186.58. And actually, I can update this. I'm going to update this because it's going higher. Dana, why is that going higher? Because the slant of the line is to the upside. And we have a new quarter opening, which means this quarter support level is going further to the right. So I'm going to update this by bringing my line. This is the line that intersects the engulfing candle. So I've got around, I will be shooting for a range of around $188.94. So this is what I'm looking for in XOY. I'm looking for it to try for 188.94 before it pulls back. And that is also supported by this evidence. This is the month chart that I have it on. Each candlestick is 1 month. If you look back, October 2023, where did we get our reversal? We got our reversal off of a quarter floor or a quarter support level. If you were to combine these two, price tends to move from support to resistance, from resistance to support of the same time frame. So we got our reversal back here. We're up, 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 and we haven't quite made it to that next quarter level. So I would target this area here, and then I would look for a pullback, probably back to this 50% of 2022. So yeah, take a look at that video I did on XOY that provides even more context on how I do my research. So that's part of my research for the weekend. Take a look at this video to help you define your own research strategy, because what I will do next, I will go deeper into the sector. So I will go into XLB, XLC, XLY, and the various sectors to see if I actually find that reversal signal being a hammer, and identifying what my potential target would be based upon a ceiling or based upon a support level. So work on your research for the weekend and start building out your plays for next week. I hope this is helpful. Questions, let me know. Otherwise, we'll chat again soon.